Hello and greetings tonight. So, even though I didn't have such a great weekend, my weekend was kind of sad, boring, and just stressful because I went through this whole weekend and waiting on a check and it didn't come, so therefore I had to suffer and eat ramen noodles and being low on food and all the shit that comes along with not having any money. Even though I do have money coming to me, I have a work check coming soon. But yeah, so I, you know, let me try to say this in a way where I won't be judged. I was reflecting on a time in my life where I had a whole moment. A whole moment. Okay? It wasn't meant to be a whole moment. And I've told this story maybe once or twice here on my channel, but I love to tell it again because, like, I'm proud of the things that took place in this story time. You know, I'm proud of myself because the moral of the story is like not to let a dude get the best of you. I'm nice enough to put a roof over this guy's head, and the whole time he's creeping around on me with my neighbors in the privacy of my home. He's arguing at me, cussing at me, calling me out my name, punching holes in the wall because he couldn't hit me. Coming back home late, making me think that he was out cheating. Just a lot that I went through with having someone who in my home, in my personal space. I let this dude move in and he put me through a lot. So let me continue on with this story. So around this time, I'm gonna say I was pissed off at my ex of 5 years because of the fact that it wasn't that long ago that my daughter at the time, who was like around, I think 7, had told me that he was outside talking to a female. And this female just happened to be my neighbor. So when he came back from the store on his bicycle, I questioned him and I said, "Were you out there talking to that female, my neighbor?" He's like, "No, I was talking to her boyfriend because I knew her boyfriend from a long time ago." And I said, "Did she give you a beer?" And he said, "No." Okay, my daughter saw all this, and I went and questioned his ass, and his ass lied to my face. Then he gonna sit up there and have the audacity to get mad at my daughter for telling me that he did all these things. Like, was talking to the female, accepted a beer from her, and just, Meanwhile, I'm in the house cooking hamburger helper and biscuits. And I'm not even knowing what's going on, but my daughter came in the house. My daughter was old enough to know what a form of cheating was. Now, so therefore, because he did that, I'm gonna say 2 months later, my sister had offered to keep my daughter for me for the first 3 weeks of summer. And then on this particular week, I had received a check and I told myself that I was going to go to my cousin's salon and get my hair done. I was going to get a sew-in. But I was also going to link up with Terrell. Mind you, the night before, I had stayed up late, and I was texting Terrell, and we was saying how we were gonna link up and meet up with each other in Messenger as we're plotting and talking. During the night, Terrell was trying to get me to be intimate with him. He wanted some sex so bad, but I said no. I told him I was on my cycle. Okay, but then he touched me down there. He's like, okay, you say you're on your cycle, but I don't feel no pad. I said, I have a tampon on. I don't have to tell you everything. Which I just made it up. So the very next morning, and I was excited too. It was like 6:30 a.m. in the morning. I got up and I took a shower. Mind you, I told my ex of 5 years who was in the house with me that I was getting ready to go get my hair done. Which I was, but I also was going to do something else too. So, he's in the kitchen while I'm in the shower. And then I'm in the bathroom. After I got out the shower, I dried off, put my Bath and Body Works lotion and perfume on. And I had this lingerie short set that I had under my clothes. I had on some jeans. It was kind of windy outside. He was in the kitchen baking biscuits, cooking eggs, and bacon. And I came out of the bathroom and he's like, are you going to eat breakfast? I said, I don't have time. I said, my cousin very serious about people arriving on time, so I don't have time to eat. He's like, that's effed up. But he was rolling his weed and then looking at me all suspicious. He's like, you say that you're going to get your hair done. He's like, what's the address to this salon? Now, mind you, I was never going to tell him what the address was, where I was going to, because Terrell had picked me up that day in front of the salon. Now, I gave him the wrong address. I said to myself, dude, if you really think I'm going to tell you the address to my cousin's salon, you crazy. So he kept on looking at me crazy while he was rolling his weed and squinching his eyes up at me. He's like, are you sure you're going to go get your hair done? I said, you'll see when I get back. Because I actually did get my hair done, but I just went to go do something else first. So, I called me an Uber. The Uber picked me up at 7:30 a.m. And I kissed him and I told him bye, and I'll see him later on that day. I get dropped off in front of the salon, and as soon as I got dropped off, I called Terrell. Terrell answered on the first ring, and then he said he's on his way, and he drove very fast and retrieved me. I got in the car with him, and he and I went to a motel, and we both was puffing on weed and drinking and stuff, but we did have sex, and the whole time I'm in bed with Terrell, my ex of 5 years is blowing up my phone. he's texting me and I didn't answer. So, at this particular time, mind you, Terrell knew I was in a relationship. And he also knew that I was still being sexually active with my ex of 5 years. So Terrell is like, we're doing it. And he starts asking me these trifling ass questions. He's like, do I fuck you better than him? Am I better than him? You want me, don't you? Not him. And stuff like that. Then he tried to do something trifling. He tried to put his wiener in me on Raw, and I was me and him was wrestling in the bed. I said, don't do that. I said, at the end of the day, I have someone who I'm in a relationship with. I have to go home to this person and look him in the face. He's like, well, it's not gonna hurt. Just let me put it in just one time. I said, no. I said, put the condom on. Put it on. He's like, I am, but I said, do it now. I'm like, he's like, you tripping and you scary. I'm like, I'm not scary or anything like that. I just don't want no shit to go down because you're going to get me in trouble. I said, do you have any idea how I had to lie and plan this and make plans to get my hair done just to come link with you and to see you behind his back? And he's at the house now thinking that I'm just getting my hair done, but I'm in the motel room with you. But yeah, so we was doing it and doing it and doing it. Then all of a sudden we hear a knock at the door, and it was housekeeping, and we had to hurry up and get dressed. So we got dressed. He drops me off back at the salon, my cousin's salon, and then he's like, okay, I'm gonna text you. Yeah, we kissed too. And then he said, I'm gonna text you. I said, okay. Mind you, yeah, I cleaned myself up before I went to that salon. I cleaned so I wouldn't be smelling like that because I carried around my Bath and Body Works stuff with me everywhere I go. But yeah, I went and got my hair done. I got my sew-in, and I made it back home. I left around 7:30 a.m. in the morning. Didn't make it back until probably like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. As soon as I walked through the door, my ex of 5 years is looking at me crazy. And he bucking his eyes. He's like, it took you that long to get your hair done? I said, dude, you can't rush a process. That's the way my hair, I told him that's the way my cousin do hair. She takes a long time. I said, but sew-ins take a while anyway. So I sat next to him, acting like I ain't do shit. And then he had already cooked like some gravy, rice, fried chicken, drummies, and cornbread. And I was just sitting next to him eating what he cooked like I ain't do nothing. But he kept on staring at me crazy. But like I said, when I was on Facebook reflecting on how I did my shit and got away with it. And that was like the first time that I ever cheated on him. And I had fun too. I had fun. But yeah, that was a whole moment. It was a whole moment of mine. But I'll do it again because I don't need somebody who's supposed to have been in love with me, which was my ex of 5 years, who's supposed to have been faithful to me and not disrespecting me with all these female neighbors of mine and cussing me out behind the scenes and just putting me through stuff. I didn't need somebody who I let move into my personal space treating me that way. I was gonna find a way to get my leg back, and I did, and I'm proud of it. Okay? So therefore, I will always smile about that because I know I did my shit and I got away with it. I got away with it. But I'm about to end this video. Hope you viewers enjoyed the story, even though I've told it maybe twice. It's a very true story about something that took place in my life. And it is what it is. Until I post my next video, until then, y'all stay blessed.